may have already seen the best out of tight end Rob Gronkowski in his career.
This is not an overreaction for me, and kind of sad to say it because he's so fun to watch. The health is just, it's undeniable.
It's the way he plays.
It's like, and not only is it the way he plays, but it's also the way guys are forced to tackle him. Mm-hmm. I think the way he plays and how he has to be contacted now by defenders, it makes it impossible to be sustainable now.
That was Timmy Hasselbeck on NFL Live saying that Rob Gronkowski's best days are behind him after suffering a back injury in Sunday's win over the Jets. Herm Edwards just in that clip on NFL Live and now here with us. Good to see you as
Good
always.
to be back. Hadn't been here in a while. Happy holidays.
Always happy to have you.
Always
happy to have you. Doing great work. I'm watching you every Sunday night with Boomer. Keep it up, my man. I love it. It ain't too many people that can sit in that seat that Tom Jackson occupied for so many years.
Well,
it's good to see you.
The right guy in it, though.
Absolutely, no question.
You think he's right?
I do. I think Gronk's best season was 2011. I mean, let's just be honest about what it is. That was his best season. That's a long time ago already. There are certain players, and I know, apologies to Tony Gonzalez. If I had to pick a tight end that I've seen with my own eyes to be on my all-time team, I want Gronkowski. But guys who are big and strong and have a rough and tumble style, I think Earl Campbell, for example, can be like the best player in the league for 3 or 4 years, but they generally don't have very long primes. It is a brutal, Coach, I don't have to tell you, sport that takes its toll. And Gronkowski's health has always been an issue. Last several years, how often are you not worried that Gronkowski is going to be compromised in some way heading into the playoffs? Because when he's not, they're a legit Super Bowl threat. I mean, they may win the Super Bowl. Right. And when he is, there's something less. I do agree. It's caught up with him. He'll still be excellent, not what he once was.
I agree with that. I just don't like what Tim Hasselbeck left out. He's right. The key point that he made was that it's a combination of the injuries, but more importantly, how you're forced to tackle him. Right? And that's the part that I peel from Tim Hasselbeck and what he said more than anything else. And when he said that statement, then it had me thinking about that damn NFL. This is all their fault. Because they're so fixated on avoiding the concussions, they've encouraged folks to hit low. And then I've seen guys cave a dude's chest in, but because the head snaps back, they're getting fined for it because, the guy ends up getting concussed because of how he falls on the turf or whatever the case may be. And so as a result, you're forcing guys to hit low because they don't want money coming out of their pockets because this ain't the NBA with the high eight figures, 9 figures guaranteed salaries from time to time. So these guys trying to keep money in their pocket. So what are they doing? They're going after your knees. They're going after lower than that. And then you combine all of that with Gronk being about 6'6", about 250 plus or whatever the case may be, and you can't tackle him in the upper body and bring him down, you're forced to go low because the league itself has encouraged you to go low. Now, I would tell you this. If somehow, some way, I also look at Bill Belichick and some of the routes you got him running. Tom Brady throwing the ball high because height is to his advantage, makes him an easier target instead of throwing the ball a little bit low so he can go down a little bit, just a little bit and get it because it could save his legs a little bit. I'm sure Tom Brady's not doing that on purpose, but it is what it is. All of those things factor into the equation. But for my money, you talk about Gronk, listen, I'm a huge fan of Tony Gonzalez. By the way, he's doing a good job on CBS. I know my man is at the other network. But I love me some Shannon Sharp. Yeah. I love me some Shannon Sharp could be my tight end any day of the week. And Coach, this is going to hit home for you, particularly where you live. You know where I'm going. I don't know too many tight ends in history that I loved more than I loved me some Kellen Winslow. When you talk about Kellen Winslow with Dan Fouts and Charlie Joyner, Chuck Muncie out of the backfield, you talking something special with that offense. So, Winslow, Sharp, Gonzalez, Gronk. Now, I might not know about the Dick because I wasn't right. I'm 49. Okay, I'm not 69. I ain't seen much of Mike Dick, all right? Jackie Smith, wasn't he the one that dropped the touchdown against the Steelers in the Super Bowl? Hit him right in the chest. But I don't know. Well, Jason Witten's going to be in there. Antonio Gates might be in there. But my top 4 tight ends, we talking Shannon Sharp. We talking Kellen Winslow, all right? We're talking Gonzalez. We're talking Gronk.
Yeah, you guys make great points, and I think a couple things to add on to this. The evolution of the passing game has changed as well. When you think about the use of formations anymore and where quarterbacks are now willing to throw the football. It used to be the ball was thrown on the perimeter, outside the numbers, probably 70 to 80% of the time. That's no longer the case. The ball is thrown 70, 80% of the time now inside the numbers. And so this is where for the most part, Gronk lives. He lives inside the numbers. He's a big catching tight end. Quarterbacks are more prone now to throw it inside to take advantage of the coverage you have inside. Safeties, linebackers trying to cover an athletic tight end. The matchup is in your favor. And Stephen A. Put it very well in the fact that the rules have changed, where guys have to go low to hit a guy like this. And the other thing about Gronk, when you watch him play, and you mentioned a bunch of good tight ends, he's a clumsy athlete. I call him a clumsy athlete. In other words, when he gets tackled, watch how he falls.
Falls hard.
Like it's almost like if you had a bag and you put a bag of bricks in one bag and you put marshmallows in the other bag and you dropped them, Gronk's the one with the bricks. Boom, it always hits hard. Where some guys, when they get tackled, it's the marshmallows. They just fall down. Mm-hmm. They just kind of fall and they get up. He falls hard. Every time he gets tackled, it's just...
That's true, but let me ask you this question, Coach. I get you. I totally understand that. You're absolutely right. But let me ask you this. The reason why I bring up the NFL, and Max, you too, we do so much, the league, meaning,
yes,
you protect the quarterbacks.
Sure.
How about protecting your tight ends? How about protecting those offensive players if we're of the mindset, as much as we love the game of football, if we're of the mindset that offense sells, whereas you don't with baseball you want the long ball if you could help it. Where with basketball you don't want the hand checking. You're not allowed to do it because you don't want to take so much away. You don't want the bad boy Pistons. You don't want the Rough Riders that was the New York Knicks with Anthony Mason, God rest his soul, and Ewing and Oakley and those boys. You want a more offensive flow. The Golden State Warriors are a dream come true for the NBA. How come the same isn't applicable in football overall, where we're talking about the quarterbacks being protected, but not necessarily all the offensive elite players?
Well, and to a sense there is, because according to how you hit a guy,
right,
all of a sudden it's a foul. I mean, we've seen guys get hit where when you're a defensive player now and you hit a guy and he's not aware of him getting ready to get hit, it's almost like they're going to call a foul on me or not. So they're trying to do it, but it's still a contact sport.
Just like you mandate avoiding the head,
yes,
I think you should mandate hitting above the knees, man.
Here's the problem. Here's what you're really addressing. This is not flag football. This is tackle football.
Right.
Yes.
And the tackling comes from the defense. That's why it's tackle football. They're trying to stop you. They're trying to tackle you. And tackle football is brutal and has been, as has been brought up recently. If you tried to invent it today, it wouldn't take, because people would be like, that's too barbaric. You can't do that. So as time goes on and the health of the players, especially post-career, becomes a bigger and bigger issue, it will resemble less of the tackle football we now know. And I think people are going to have to get used to that idea, Coach, although I know old school guys like you aren't going to love it.
Well, we say that, but I still think we are a culture of competitive violence within the framework of the rules. Now, you're a big boxing guy, and you're one of them MMA guys. You watch those people fight?
No doubt about it.
And people want to watch that.
But you know what, Coach?
They want to watch that.
They do, but bring up boxing. Boxing has been increasingly marginalized through the years, partly because of its brutality.
Yeah.
And MMA, because of the way it's regulated, there have been fewer, and it's also a young sport, long-term kind of health problems associated with it. And I think that's one of the reasons, because as soon as you get an advantage, you can end the fight.
Sure.
That's one of the reasons it's a fast-growing sport.
Well, I will tell you this. I don't think you're the one to make the argument today, because you go all the way out to Vegas and watch some dude, Axeman Nicholas Walters, quit because he wasn't feeling well. I mean, you gotta be kidding me. He tapped out. He tapped out, Coach. He said no more. He actually said no more. He actually said no more.
This is why MMA is growing and boxing hasn't.
That's right.
One of the reasons. You can tap out in MMA. It's not the end of your career. You fight another day. Boxing, you tap out. People call you a quitter. They never forget it.
That's
they
right.
never forgive you.
And you're right, because I ain't gonna forget Nicholas Walters.
The less brutal the sport is in the long run, the more growth potential.
When you kick a guy in the face with your foot, that's not.
Yeah,
physical.
but if you hurt him, you get on him, end of the fight.
And then, so
It's
you
very
compare
physical.
that to football?
It's very physical.
just like
Football is prolonged violence.
Yeah, your sport is the one where they quit. That's what Nicholas Walters did.
We got to stay with this violent sport.
Can't do this.
All right.
Can't tap out.
Coming up. The major storylines regarding the Rams this season have been about what's going on the sidelines. Is it Jared Goff not playing? And now it has to do with the beef between Jeff Fisher and Eric Dickerson. Let me explain. In an interview with ESPN, Dickerson said that Fisher essentially told him he didn't want him on the sidelines during games because of some of his public comments that have made his players uncomfortable. Dickerson said, "I won't be at the Coliseum as long as Fisher is coaching. I'm a man of my word. And if I tell you something, I'm gonna do it." Fisher had this to say about Dickerson not feeling welcome. "I'd welcome him into the building. I'd love to have him come in. I'd love to have him come to practice. I'd love to have him come in the meetings." Max? I'm lost. Who do you believe?
I believe Eric Dickerson. Why would he make it up? And this doesn't make any sense. And then this is what the team underestimated. Yeah, you're the Rams. You're talking about the greatest player in your franchise's history who was a Los Angeles Ram. These guys just got here from St. Louis. So when the greatest Los Angeles Ram is sitting, what? He would just make it up? No, they underestimated his juice. They didn't think he would go public, it seems to me. Eric Dickerson said, "Oh, okay, this is how you treat me. This is what happened." And now the Rams are in spin mode. No, of course Eric Dickerson is welcome here.
It sounds a little sensitive to me.
Who are they to tell Eric Dickerson, because he justifiably criticizes a terrible team, not to be on the sidelines? Shame on them.
Well, I agree. I know Eric personally. Spent a little time in Los Angeles with the Rams. He was a teammate. He's a good man. And if he said something, he has a radio show, obviously. And if players are sensitive to that, that tells me something about this football team. In other words, when the media people after the game come into the locker room, the same people that write things about you, same people on the radio, they come. That's okay. But Eric Dickerson can't stand on the sideline. Hall of Famer, one of the best running backs to ever play the game of football, because he said something negative about you. You can't go there. And Jeff can't win this battle. Jeff needs to stay out of it. I think he said what he said. He needed to say that. Welcome Eric back. Knowing Eric is not coming back, because Eric's a man of his word. If he said I'm not coming back, if he's the coach, he's not coming back, okay? But this got out of control. It should never got to this point. If you're the head coach, one thing you don't listen to is players in the locker room. We talk about the media people. You got to deal with the media people. That's part of it. And you can't win that battle. When you go down that road as a coach, you're done. Go ahead. Finish. You got the floor.
Big Jeff Fisher fan, we know.
Go right ahead.
To me, y'all missing the point. Y'all missing the point. Let me look into the camera and say this. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Rams organization. You now have a great reason to get rid of Fisher right now. This man is horrible. Period. This is going on the 7th year. He is not going to have a winning record. This is his 22nd year in the NFL as a head coach. This man has made the playoffs 6 times. He has not had a winning record since 2008. Back then, Max, people actually joked I had as much hair as you. That's how long ago that was, that this man recorded a winning record. Not only do you get one contract after another, but then they relocate to Los Angeles from St. Louis to La Sunshine. Didn't Jeff Fisher go to USC? I think he did. So you back in home turf, home territory, Southern California, Sunshine, Rodeo Drive, Venice Beach, palm trees. How in the hell did he pull this off? Gronky is the coach. Isn't he the owner of this team? Is it Gronky?
Yeah.
He got pictures on this man or something. Something's up. He got something on this dude. How in the hell is Jeff Fisher still a coach of the Los Angeles Rams? And then knowing all of this, because he knew before this incident, he had had a winning record since 2008. He knew before this incident he only had 6 playoff appearances. He knew his level of ineptitude was incredibly alarming, wasting away the career of Todd Gurley, Tavon Austin, got Case Keenum as your quarterback. When you drafted Jared Goff, you should have drafted Carson Wentz. We know all of this, but knowing all of that, you still turn around and talk smack to Eric Dickerson? And by the way, Eric Dickerson did not say he heard it from somebody else. He said, hold on. He did not say that he heard it from somebody else. He said Jeff Fisher said it directly to him. And Jeff Fisher initially tried to deny that. You can't make this up. This dude need to get the hell out of LA. Let me look at my man Bill Plaschke, one of the voices, the ultimate voices, Los Angeles Times. Bill Plaschke, one of the great columnists. You know, get this man out of town. Get this man. Marcellus Wilder, your radio host, dog. You a football player. You know what you're doing. Get this man out of town. You know, Scott McCarthy runs ESPN LA. Find a way. Get rid of him. Get rid of them. These people, I met these people for the Los Angeles Rams. These are good people. They got a lot of good people within that organization. Your coach, he's got to go. He's got to go. Fisher, bye. Please, Eric Dickerson. Dickinson's not coming back. Please, who the hell do you think you are? He got to go. He got to go, man.
Michael Jordan's not welcome on the sidelines of the Bulls.
What? I mean, please. You got to be kidding me. I just want to know. Listen, Don King says it all the time. Don King says it all the time, only in America. Jeff Fisher needs to adopt that mentality. How the hell is this man have a head coach job in the NFL? Coach, how? How is it, man? You been how long you been away from the game as a head coach?
Oh, 8 years.
Damn it, hire you, man. I mean, go back, man.
Yeah, good job.
Coach, no, ain't no job better than that. What kind? Listen, I want that job. That's security. You can be that and have to still keep a head coaching job. How? What has Fisher done to keep getting these contract extensions? He got pictures on the man and said, something wrong.
I think Eric's going to go back to the new stadium. When they have the new stadium, Eric's going to go back to that.
Yeah,
he's waiting for the new stadium.
Yeah, you don't show up in LA and the first thing alienate Eric Dickerson in the middle of a terrible season.
I know Eric too. Eric's cool people, man. Eric's real. If he says something, he means it. He was offended by what this man said, and he's quoting him. Who do you think you are? I cannot believe
Just for the record, where do you stand on Jeff Fisher?
Yeah.
Clear.
We're trying to get Stephen
Is that almost like saying Kobe Bryant can't go to Laker games?
Right.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Kobe Jeter can't go to Yankee Stadium.
That's not good.
Cal Ripken can't go to Baltimore.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for bringing out the best out of my guys.
Jeff Fisher.
Yeah.
Get
my pipe some water.
Musa.
I don't know Jeff Fisher from a can of paint. I don't know the man. I've only met him a couple of times. All I'm saying to you is I'm addressing his record. If you have a guy like that in his position, what excuse is there to fire anybody else anywhere? Everybody else might as well keep their job no matter how inept they are. 22 years and 6 playoff appearances in 22 years, not a winning record. I ain't saying no playoffs. Not a winning record since 2008.
He has the second most career regular season
And by the
losses.
way, and this in the middle
In
of the
NFL
season where they
history.
traded all that to go up to draft
He has the second most regular season losses in NFL history.
The second most NFL losses in
163.
NFL history. And he just got a contract extension. You can't make this up. You can't. I want that job. Security.
We need you
security.
to calm
I need
down.
security.
We need you to calm down.
How does this man have a job?
We'll see you again soon.
Max.